Hello again, Jonas Funston and Ashley McCaffrey here with the Epic Phoenix Real Estate Group. We're here to present another Vacation Rental 101 video as part of our video series that we've been doing together. Today we're going to be discussing kind of the differences between short-term tenants versus long-term tenants, like a normal buy and hold versus your traditional kind of vacation or corporate rental model. Two extremely different models. As all we ask in return, if you're getting value from this, is please subscribe. Like, share, subscribe to our channel. That way we can provide more additional amazing content just like this.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you, Jonas. So we do talk about long-term rentals versus short-term rentals. And typically what that means is a short-term rental is something that is available for less than 12 months and it's furnished. A long-term rental is something that's a traditional 12-month plus lease and it's not furnished. Of course, there's going to be exceptions to every rule. Sometimes we'll have more of those longer-term leases and an option to have it furnished, or something that's shorter and not furnished. But rule of thumb, the longer the requirement, the more likely it is it's not furnished, and then on the shorter side, it's going to be furnished.
Absolutely. Yeah, we get a lot of investors reaching out to us. Some of them are new, some of them have experience, but maybe want to get into the vacation rental space, kind of trying to figure out what's the best bet for them. There is pros and cons to both. Generally, when we're looking for vacation rental properties, corporate rental properties, it's going to be a lot more stringent criteria as far as what's going to work and what's not going to work. Whereas, your long-term rentals could be, I hate to use the word vanilla, but can kind of be, not necessarily have some of the features that a seasonal rental is going to require. In addition, one is more kind of getting it ready, maybe a little cleanup, getting lined up with a property management company and just parking a tenant in there. Phoenix has been, leading the nation with rental increases, not only on the short-term and long-term rental side. So, that may be a vertical to explore if you don't want to do the subsequent investment, because besides finding the right property, which may be a little bit higher price point, you have, additional things that you need to do to get the property ready for market, and, furnishings and whatnot, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And what we do with a lot of our investors, and kind of what really sets us apart, like in a previous video, we had talked about like finding your dream team or finding the people that are really going to support you through this. When we're running rental comps on a property, and if it fits the criteria to make it a fantastic vacation rental, but also a really successful long-term rental, we're able to really play with those numbers and really guide investors, like, okay, listen, like this would really be killer for you either way. So we really have kind of like it's kind of our forte to be able to find properties that are really going to be very successful in either scenario, regardless of how it all shakes out.
100%.
So being able to find you something that offers that flexibility, I think, is something that's kind of unique for us.
Sure, absolutely. No, it gives you that versatility because you can move with the ebb and flow.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Let's say, the economy shifts, or, market conditions change, or maybe it becomes more of a restrictive environment for, vacation rentals. You could always have the fallback to rolling it as a long-term, rental. So that's always an option. A big, important nuance between the two is your guest profile. So one is going to be tenants. That's going to be long-term. And with any sort of tenancy, landlord-tenant situation, you're going to have tenant rights, right? So they have more rights than a guest does, somebody who would be staying at a vacation rental or a hotel. So from a legal standpoint, without diving into specific details with the law, which we're not
not lawyers,
not lawyers. So, in the event, like for example, when we had the pandemic, and a lot of people were essentially squatting in properties, right? And when you were a long-term tenant, you had a lot more rights that the government and the municipalities put in place. Whereas for guests, they don't have those rights. So if somebody is not maintaining the property or causing problems, maybe they're doing a house party or breaking or bending the rules where they shouldn't be, they essentially have no rights. You have the right to basically get them out of the house, obviously with cause and that sort of thing. So you certainly have a lot more protection in place from that standpoint. So it's kind of the risk versus reward. A lot of it has to do with the proper screening. We work with some really good long-term management companies and short-term management companies, and a lot of it depends on how you screen the tenants and who you're bringing in, as far as whether or not you may or may not have those sort of problems.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of investors or a lot of people that don't live here don't realize that the types of people that are coming in and staying at one property or the other, it's kind of been blended. We've got over 300 people a day that move to Maricopa County. And yes, people come here to vacation and come to the Waste Management Tour in Barrett Jackson and, next year the Super Bowl, but really there are people that are looking for kind of like that in between stay. So you have someone that typically would have needed just like a 3-month rental or a 4-month rental. So like being able to kind of blend the two ideas has created this like corporate rental sector. So like there's all different types of people that are looking to stay here and move here, and there's a lot of need. So there's definitely going to be some ebbs and flows.
Yeah, one segment with that is going to be your traditional short-term rentals, like Ashley's talking about. Those are your vacation rental travelers, people here for golf trips, spa trips, bachelorette parties, vacation, bringing their family. And then the corporate side, Arizona is booming right now when it comes to, companies and businesses. We've got, we're becoming a huge tech sector, tech, microchip, bioscience, automated vehicles. A lot of Fortune 500 companies are setting up shop here. And a lot of times when they're bringing their employees out, they need to find short-term housing. Either corporate housing, to put them up for a couple months while they're maybe coming out for a project, or maybe they're actually bringing in new employees, and those people need a place to live. So they don't always come in and find the home right out the gate. If they're coming from another market, a lot of times, they don't know where they want to land. So the tweener homes, right, the in between, kind of gives them the opportunity to have a rental, and that could be off season, that could be summer months. And give them a soft landing. That way they can, when they decide to buy, or maybe they're building a home, they can kind of parlay that. So your guest profile will be very different depending on season, obviously all with seasonal rates depending, whereas your long-term tenant is going to be kind of more of a one-size-fits-all sort of scenario.
Absolutely. I think that 10 years ago, Phoenix really was a one-trick pony. Like we really only had a huge part of our market here was service-based, like hotels and
real estate and housing. That was kind of the fundamentals.
That's what people really came here for. Yeah. But now, like we have Arizona State University, they're the largest state university in the entire nation, I believe.
Huge.
So it brings in a whole bunch of like adjunct faculty or people working on their dissertation for
Travel
their doctorates.
Nurses.
Travel nurses is huge. We have a huge medical system here in Metro Phoenix, both private and public hospitals. So the type of people that come in for the employment is a lot greater than I think what people know of, because it just really wasn't that way even just a decade ago.
100%. Yeah. So, if you're unsure of kind of where you fall at this point, or if you have a certain fixed budget or dollar amount to work with, we can kind of do a needs assessment with that and kind of help identify, what would fit in that box, because, down payment requirements could be different depending on which route you go. Subsequent investment could be more, with the short-term rental stuff. So I'm sure no matter what your budget is, we could find something that would work for you. And the beauty is, if you do a long-term rental for now, and maybe, start, stacking some cash, you always have the option to not renew the lease, maybe get the property cleaned up, furnish it out, and then have a great vacation rental at a later date. So,
yeah, this is, really just kind of like a pride and joy piece of our business. So if you have questions about what it would take to get your first rental or your 100th, we're here to support you in that. So reach out, and when you do, you actually speak with me or Jonas. So call us, email, text, comment on this video or whatever, and we'll make sure to reach out and help you with whatever your specific needs are.
Absolutely. Until then, we hope you found value in the video. And again, like or subscribe, please share. That way we can keep churning great content like this. Hope you have a great day.